what did you guys think of the movie?
This is going to be a very milquetoast answer, but it just, like, it was okay. It didn't really elicit a strong reaction from me. Like, I watched it and I didn't like think this was like, oh god awful or anything, but I wasn't also super engaged. It was okay. I don't know, very middle of the road, I guess.
I felt very similar.
I'm gonna say that I liked it a little less than that. And this is why. So I know we were just talking about like, oh, Disney sucks. At the same time, I'm gonna say that I feel a little bit more attached to some of their works than maybe Braden was saying. He said when you said that that you're not the biggest Disney fan.
As a corporate entity, so I want to.
Okay.
Okay. The Disney cartoon Mulan is probably my favorite of like the sing along kind of Disney movies.
Same. I love.
I had high hopes for this movie. Like this is actually the very first live action remake I've seen, because none of them looked interesting to me. But this was Mulan. Like this was, I've always loved this movie. I thought it had potential as a live action, more so than like a Lion King did. And so I was actually really excited for this movie. I did think it was disappointing because it wasn't as, what I'd hoped it would be, but I didn't hate it either. I was like mildly entertained the whole way through. But anyway, not to cut you off, I just want to correct the record.
Okay.
I'm not a Disney hater of
for the record keepers. Make sure you like get the correction on there.
Saying you didn't like it.
So I didn't like it, and what I was about to say was that is it fair that these live action movies have to live in the long shadow that the animated films cast? Because the fact that they are remaking it, that they're selling it because of the name, right? They probably wouldn't even make it if the name didn't exist. I think invites comparison between the live action movie and the animated movie. And I'll get into details about why I feel this way when we get into the spoiler section. But for now, my biggest criticism is that they dampened all of the emotions of the movie. I felt like every time that there was a part where that was what should have inspired pathos, should have inspired empathy, like the way they executed it was the opposite of that. Like they were trying to remove the ability to connect and feel with this movie. But yeah, as I said, I'll get into specific examples in the spoiler section.
No, I felt pretty much the same way. I didn't really connect with the movie. It just felt kind of muted. Like almost, you could tell that it was a film put by committee thought. It didn't feel like someone was like, oh, I really want to make Mulan again. I've got these like great ideas. I've got a passion for it. I think I can really do something here. It felt like, a board of people going like, oh, well, what can we remake next? Oh, yeah, Mulan. That's a big one.
People. Do you know how many writers there were?
How many?
There were 4 writers. So it's like, and I'm not necessarily saying that these writers are bad, but that means that there's a writer for the test audience edits. That's what that tells me,
Yeah.
It's like 4 writers came up with this script, and it's like, I can't be surprised. That's what happens when you have that many.
When I first heard about Mulan, and then I heard they were going to take it into like a more realistic direction, I was excited that this was going to. One of the reasons this excited me more than like Lion King is because to me this was a chance to make a different movie, like use the same story of Mulan but make a completely different movie, and that's what I wanted. I did not want a shot-for-shot remake of the original. Like that was the opposite of what I wanted.
That's fair enough.
And I was with you that it kept on inviting that had shot-for-shot remake bits in it. Like it would have original bits, and the original bits were all the best bits, in my opinion. It was once you had talked about inviting comparison. The movie kept on doing that over and over. It was like, remember this scene that you liked? Here's a worse version of that. Like, it just kept on doing that. And I was like, no, just go back to like the kung fu action, because that's what you do well. That's what I want.
That's the new thing that you added.
That was the part I liked.
Like, man.
That was the part I liked. I liked the action scene. I thought it was well choreographed. But yeah, I'm with you. Like the emotional pull of the original movie was just not there.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna say right here, spoiler warning. Unless you did one more thing you add.
Well, I was actually gonna add a positive. That being said, I did kind of like the visuals in this film. Like I thought the set design was really good. There was actually some good cinematography and areas where just the color scheme was pretty interesting. So at times like I did, I guess, enjoy what my eyes were seeing. And then I thought like, well, you could just Google screenshots though.
That doesn't count for nothing. I actually agree that I didn't mind that aspect of it. I am gonna another thing to bring up. Apparently, this was so the reviews of this movie were kind of middling. I didn't read them specifically, but I'm assuming they're probably saying a lot of the same stuff we're saying. In China, the reception was actually much worse than it was in America. Like they really didn't like this movie. So, and I think the whole idea, a lot of the changes were made to pander to the Chinese audience. I think that was like the rationale behind a lot of them, and that fell flat on its face. So, womp. But anyway,